As we all know, children are different. The lessons are an approximation of what children will need to be ready for kindergarten. But we've had to guess about how much English language the children have when they start the Puente de Cuentos lessons. Some children will have very little exposure to English before receiving the lessons, and some will have much more experience with English. For that reason, we have embedded ways to differentiate the lessons all throughout. There are ways to make the lessons easier or to focus on targets that are earlier developing. And there are also ways to make the lessons harder for children with more English language skills. Let's start with how to make them easier. Each lesson and story were created to target 2 vocabulary words, a verb and an adjective. Generally, these are harder for children to learn than nouns because they are not easily seen in their environment or in pictures. The type of verbs and adjectives that young children are exposed to has everything to do with the type of language the adults around them use. It is very good for children when adults use big words. For most of the children who participate in the Puente de Cuentos lessons, these words will be great for them to learn. But there will also be children who are still learning simple nouns. We have planted one noun in every story that can be used for teaching. They are blue. In addition, the stories have concepts embedded in them that may be appropriate for some children. They are purple. Body parts is one of the concepts. It might be that some children do not know their body parts in Spanish or English. Now let's talk about how to make the lessons harder for the children who have more developed language skills. Starting in lesson 13 in Spanish and 19 in English, we have underlined a few words in the stories. If children use these words while retelling the story in Activity 5, they will be using more complex language than if they don't. That's one of our goals. Remember, grammar was one of the essential language skills that children need to be ready for school? Well, we have planted the features that are appropriate for preschoolers to use and understand in the stories on purpose. We start emphasizing the most basic ones first, coordinating conjunctions. These are the words like and, but, and then. These words connect 2 independent thoughts and are a great way for children to lengthen their sentences. Starting in lesson 19 in Spanish and lesson 25 in English, the word because is underlined. This is a very important grammatical feature because it connects a subordinate clause to the main part of the sentence. Using because makes the sentence complex. The parts of stories are causally related to each other, and using the word because is the way children help the listener understand how the parts are connected. Finally, in lesson 25 in Spanish and lesson 31 in English, we underline the words when and after. Each story has one of these, and they work like because, but they connect the story parts in an order or sequence. The words when and after tell us about when something happens. They are also used to connect a subordinate clause with the main clause and are important for young children to be able to use. At the end of the year, after all 72 Puente de Cuentos lessons, it is a good goal for children to be able to tell a complete story with all 5 parts and use words like and, but, then, because, when, and after to do it. Let's talk about how you would help children use those words. Let's say a child in your small group can tell the stories with all 5 parts by himself. During the child's individual retell, you can encourage him to now tell the story using the underlined words when there is an opportunity to do so. If a child should use an underlined word, but he doesn't do it, politely stop him and say it like this, and then model a sentence with the word in it. If you find that he can't imitate what you said because it is too long, you might need to simplify or shorten the sentence. What's the feeling?
She got scratched.
That's right. That's her problem. How about this? She felt sad.
She felt sad.
Because she got scratched.
Because she has scratched.
Okay, can you say it all together? She felt sad because she got scratched.
She feels sad because she has scratched.
Very nice. Okay, everybody, we're going to say that together. She felt sad because she got scratched. Ready? She felt sad because she got scratched. Very nice, my friends. You guys did a good job.